What is going on, fellow Wastelanders? Welcome back to the channel. The Jackpot event is here, guys. So today we're going to go over all the balance changes, my reaction after playing the update yesterday, checking out the rewards, seeing what is actually worth it in the Jackpot, and even covering a new event where we are hunting down developers in the game. I'm Shock Radio. Welcome back to the channel. Let's go over all the latest in CROSSOUT news. So obviously the reward, the Jackpot event pass and update is here now. A million people have covered it, so we're going to kind of go quick through this, but I do want to give my reaction. Of course, we're getting the Schleppner track in this, the Huggin cabin, so if you guys don't have those items, it's pretty good. And now, unfortunately, the price of these items, mainly the Huggin cabin, skyrocketed with this event pass, and same with the Schleppner track. Actually, the Schleppner track might be kind of leveling out. It kind of skyrocketed and then dropped out. Now, one thing you can expect with these event passes is as these items unlocked for a lot of players, the price will come down, okay? It's going to take a while. Even the Pegasus, look, the Pegasus price already dropped from 8, 9, 10,000 on PlayStation down to 6,000 coins. So one benefit of these event passes, even if you're not buying these event passes, is usually these event passes lead to a trickle effect where things just go down in price on the market as players, as the market just gets flooded with people getting these items. So as far as what you can craft here, again, I always say this, but I'm not the biggest fan of fusing legendaries, mainly legendaries that have like relic improvements. So like I wouldn't personally fuse a mammoth because I would always want a mastodon. Toadfish actually good fuse because, well, it's on a Leviathan. Durability, reload time, projectile speed. Toadfish are great for Leviathans and good fun. So perhaps getting fused Toadfish would be good. Now that is a steep price to pay for Toadfish fusions, getting these Pegasus engines, as they're still pretty expensive. Hammerfalls, obviously I'd want to get breakers, so I'm not the biggest fan of fusing Hammerfalls, but if relics aren't in the cards ever for you, then yeah, get some fused Hammerfalls, why not? Now I would say Helios are actually pretty awesome. If you have the means, get some fused Helios. There's no relic energy weapon yet, so right now Helios, Pulsars are top tier energy weapons, so not too bad to get. They have the R1 Heather for reload time and projectile speed. Fortunes for durability, damage, and rate of fire. And they did fix a bug in the Fortune where I believe the Fortunes were exploding without ever hitting anything. Also, the Hadron is available for fusion, so if you don't have a durability, max speed, and mass limit Hadron, it could be a very good time for you guys to pick up a Hadron. Hadron's just a good cabin. Now, I think I like the mass and power Hadron, but you can't really go wrong with the durability and mass limit. That would be really good for, like, say, like a spider build. Now, minus mass on the Hadron would be really good. 17% off of 1,400 kilograms of mass is pretty insane, so tough to say, but the Hadron is available if you guys don't have the Hadron. You got the Apollo with the mass and explosion damage. Fat Man, now cannons did get a rework, so they are doing more damage, but the reload time has been increased. You can't really go wrong with Fat Mans. Fat Mans have always been nice in the Wasteland. Phoenix crossbows. I like Phoenix a lot, and they had some recent buffs, so you can get Phoenix fused with durability, reload time, and time until projectile self-destructs. We got the Nest, decent if you play like chopper mode mainly. Blockchain is like a hidden gen. It penetrates through any kind of shoot-through parts in the Wasteland, so really awesome weapon, but actually not that good, not that effective for what it is. I think it's the range that kind of kills the blockchain, but when you see a bot with blockchain, you better watch out. They can one-shot a lot of builds, it seems. Thunderbolt, if you like playing like mid-tier power score, durability, damage, and range of fire for your Thunderbolt. Corvo to me has always been more of like a what's that called, an art kind of weapon. Like you have it if you like revolvers. Me, I have a Corvo because I like Metal Gear Solid Revolver Ocelot, one of my favorite characters in that game. So I have Emily's, I have Corvos, kind of as like a nod to Revolver Ocelot in that game. But Corvo available for fusion. Got the Incinerator. Now I would say get a Humpback fused, guys. If you don't have a Humpback, get it fused. Cabins, probably the most important thing to fuse in the game, and then movement parts, hardware. Weapons really, I think, are like the last thing you want to fuse. Like having everything else fused to me is really important. Hummingbird available for fusion if you guys play helicopter mode, and we have the Bootstrap available for fusion. Now if you guys want to craft the Pegasus, you're going to need the fused Sleipnir, fused Hugging Cabin. Now, I will say it's getting to the end of the year. It's been quite a few months since they released a last relic. Last year, they came out with like the Thor in these event passes. And I used my Thor to fuse weapons, and then next thing you know, the Thor was in the crafting recipe to craft an Odin relic generator. So it's really hard to say if I'm going to buy the battle pass and if I'm going to keep the Pegasus or stock up on Pegasus in case they're used for relic crafting recipes. Now, these battle passes will result in a decrease in price of these items. However, if they release a relic later, say that a relic generator that takes the Pegasus engine, it could definitely skyrocket the cost of this. So I might take a chance and save, say, like 2 to 4 Pegasus in my account just to see what happens. It could be very risky because, as we've seen, the Starfall, the Narwhal, the prices keep tanking after the event passes go away. So it's tough to say if you want to invest in Pegasus and hold them for later. They will decrease unless they come out with like a relic or something like that where they use the Pegasus to craft. Now, one thing I want to note, they have the Hail Duck you can craft, which I really want, but I missed out on the Quackstein Duck. Unfortunately, you need a Quackstein Duck to craft the Hail Duck, and you need this here Discount Duck and the Horror Show Duck, but this duck is actually really freaking awesome, so pretty cool. But that is the Jackpot event pass. Now we're going to move on to all of the balance changes, my reaction, and some gameplay footage with using different items in the balance changes. Alright guys, so moving on to the official CROSSOUT release with all the various game modes and rewards and balance changes. Starting off, we have the Legends of the Exhibition Brawl. Now, I just want to go through the rewards. The Discount Duck is the reward for the Brawl here. We have Rare Stabilize, some Humanitarian Aids, some stickers, Military Reserve, but mainly that Discount Duck is what you guys are going to be going for. Now, the reward for the battles of this mode is batteries, so it is pretty enticing, especially if you're a new player and you don't really feel like playing 6K or 5K power score. You just go ahead and jump into this Brawl to farm up some batteries and get your crates. Now, they are releasing the Wheels of Fortune Brawl, where players will be equipped with Fortune Mine Layers and Dash modules. The reward only is scrap metal. However, the special challenges and rewards give you a Logistician's container. The Logistician container does include a blueprint and a storage expansion. So, of course, I'm glad to see they keep including these rewards in these brawls because people have been begging for more blueprint, more storage spaces, and they seem to be giving us more and more of these expansions to help ease our troubles in the wasteland. So the new Brawl, Ice and Fire, is also beginning probably with the best reward yet. I'm actually excited to see this one. It's a team PvP brawl with preset vehicles. One team has ice, one team has fire. Bonuses occasionally appear on the map. Picking them up will give you a boost, double damage, invulnerability, ammo pack, all that fun stuff. The goal of the battle is to fill the score bar before the opposing team does or score more points. A team wins if it scores 20 points. Now, the reward for this mode is plastic, so that is super exciting, guys. I am ready to farm up some plastic. I'm not gonna lie, plastic is probably the second most rare resource in the wasteland, if we're being honest. Like, you need plastic for everything, and you need a lot of it, especially if they're coming out with a bunch of fusion events and crafting events this holiday season, which you better bet your ass they're going to come out with some crazy events this Christmas. You're going to need some plastic, so definitely be farming that. Now, for rewards for this one, you get some cool paint, the winter camo paint, paratrooper container with some really good decor and things like that, the trophy CK crate, so some CKs, all that good stuff. But I'm most excited for the plastic grind for this brawl. They are bringing out Operation Radiance. Unfortunately, the reward for this is wires, guys. Operation series brawls, probably one of my favorite series brawls. They're good fun. You get to play as a Ravager and infect various players before they get to the end. It's a lot of good fun, and usually they give you pretty good rewards. This one is wires, so if you want to farm up some wires, you can get some wires. And then, of course, they're giving you the Logistician's container, which, again, you can expand your blueprint and your storage with these containers. So a very, very welcome resource in the wasteland, or reward in the wasteland for sure. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. Now, this might drive down the cost of blueprints and storages. I mean, this is 2 events we're going to have with Logistician's container, so they might see an all-time low in price. Now, if you're looking to craft those, I do want to give you a special tip right now. Wait for free legendary craft weekends where you can save 75 coin when you craft blueprints and storage expansions. So that would be my advice if you need a lot of these storage and blueprints, wait for free legendary weekends. They happen every couple months, and save up your battery, save up your electronics, and then just go crazy. All right, so moving on to the balance changes. The hit scan mechanic is a mechanic that basically deals damage instantly without launching a projectile. Basically all machine guns had hit scan, all lasers had hit scan. Well, hit scan is pretty much being removed. The only weapons with hit scan is going to be like the Athenas and the Destructors. So basically everything else has hit scan, which gives more of a realistic feel. I know a lot of people aren't really looking for realism in video games, but it is more of an immersive feel when you're seeing these projectiles fly across the map now. There have been complaints about lag since the introduction of the new hit scan mechanics, but overall it's definitely a more immersive and a more realistic feel in the game. If you are on New Zealand servers or other servers that might have some ping issues, it's not a good time for you guys. Unfortunately, I mean, I guess fortunately, I can't speak on any of those issues. I have really good internet. I'm on North American servers. I have a fast computer. I have a PS5. So whether I'm playing on PlayStation or PC, the performance for me is solid. And for the longest time, hit scan weapons were sort of a crutch. You didn't really need a whole lot of skill to use them. So they're getting rid of hit scan and changing the mechanics of basically everything in the game. Now, I have been able to try the aspects and the imps. Basically, every machine gun is getting an increase in range. They're getting their spread reduced, their maximum spread reduced. They're getting a rate of spread reduction. The added penetration ability, which you can find a video where I kind of test the penetration ability. This is a nerf. I do want to say, before with the hit scan mechanic, you basically had 100% penetration. I don't know about how far they penetrated through the build, but there was 100% penetration mechanic on hit scan items before. It didn't have to list penetration because it was just kind of built into the hit scan feature. So basically, if your bullet destroyed a part and it wasn't enough durability on the part to finish out the projectile durability, it would keep going and damage the next part. So check out that video if you want to see how that's different on the test server, or is different on this server versus how it used to be. But this is a little bit of a nerf, so you're not going to be able to just penetrate through the entire builds with any of these. My favorite is the imp. I have been liking the imp since they have changed it. I've always thought the imps did not have good enough range and the spread was crazy, so I love imps, and I've been having a lot of fun using imps. Now, I did get a chance to use the aspect machine guns as well, and I gotta say, it didn't feel that bad using aspects either. It was pretty fine for me. Now, of course, I have like no ping, my internet's good, like, so I'm speaking from a platform of privilege here because I don't have the issues that a lot of other players have. But overall, I'm liking the immersive feel of the new hit scan mechanic being removed. I'm liking the range. I mean, overall, it's good for me. I think Gunyers and Nathongs probably made out the most. They have the highest range increase. They now have 80% penetration, so their penetration is through the roof. So if you're a Gunyer and Nathong user, you're probably making out a little bit better. Or if you're using these frontal machine guns, because they had probably the highest range increase. And a spread reduction on these frontal machine guns is definitely really good. Now, overall, shotguns have lost out because they added penetration ability for shotguns. So this is a nerf. Basically, before, shotguns had 100% penetration. I can't speak on how far they traveled through the builds, but shotguns penetrated builds, and with this penetration now, they're not going to just shoot through your entire build. What I thought was a buff on the Jormungandr getting 80% penetration is a slight nerf. Now, you're really not going to notice it because there's so many shotgun pellets flying out of there, as viewers have commented on my previous videos, so you're really not going to notice this nerf a whole lot, but it is a slight nerf of shotguns having this new penetration ability. Now, parsers getting 100% penetration. They had 100% penetration before, but now they list it as 100% penetration, and the rotation speed upgrade was replaced by projectile speed. So projectile speed correlates to range. Correct me if I'm wrong here, but if you have a higher projectile speed, it overall will increase the range of your weapon. So a lot of these machine guns, it says range upgrade replaced by projectile speed. I believe that projectile speed is a range increase. So correct me if I'm wrong, but you're getting increased range with that projectile speed, and you're getting increased projectile speed. So overall, pretty awesome. Corvo, Rip Corvo, you're getting a range increase. Unfortunately, it has penetration now. So Corvo's always been more of just a fun weapon. Well, now it's definitely just a fun weapon. Rip Caucuses. A lot of people are complaining about Caucuses. I don't have any experience with Caucuses personally. I don't use them. They're annoying to me in the wasteland, especially in helicopters. So, but if you're one of those players that uses Caucuses, which I think there's a lot of players that actually need Caucus when you think about accessibility in this game. I mean, I've met people that play with their feet. I've met people that play with one hand. I've met people that are deaf that play the game. I mean, a lot of players rely on these types of weapons. I want to say auto aim weapons to be able to play the game, like drones, Caucuses. These kind of weapons actually make video games more accessible. So I love these types of weapons. I hope I don't offend anybody by talking about this, but to me, that is one of the mainstays of drones, Caucuses. Like it just increases the overall accessibility of the game with weapons like this. So not my thing. Unfortunately, they are being nerfed pretty hard with this, but yeah. Let me know your thoughts about Caucuses. All right, so moving on to what's really, really pissing people off. I think people overall are okay with the hit scan, but overall, a lot of people are really mad about the limited ammo reserve. So basically, everything has ammo. To me, it's not that bad. I like to use ammunition basically as lances. All my hovers have ammo on the front, so I can ram into builds. My awesome mech build, my favorite build I've ever built, has 3 ammo boxes on the front, and it's an imp machine gun build, so you can actually just use your ammo boxes as lances. So this isn't really a big deal for me, but it is really annoying having to build all your builds out there in the wasteland, and basically you have to rebuild any machine gun build. After this update, you're gonna have to add ammo boxes, and that's gonna be a weight issue more than anything else, and also a part issue. Most people are at max parts, so you're gonna have to remove a couple parts to add ammo boxes on your build. So overall, I'm liking it, but I can see the frustration of a lot of players that are not feeling the ammo reserves. And with this, they reworked cannons, basically increasing the reload time, but increasing the damage by about the same. So you're going to be doing a lot more damage with your cannons, but it's going to take a lot more time to reload. Spread increase while turning reduced by 2 times. So this is going to make sure that your cannon shots are going to be less spread for your cannon shots when you're running these KTM style wheel build cannon builds. If you guys are out there running those wheel builds with the oppressor engine, all that good stuff. I did play with the Hawks today, and it was actually pretty good. You have to time your shots a little bit better. It might be harder if you're on wheel builds to time your shots. Hovers, I think, will be an easier time with an update like this, because you can just kind of take your peek shot, go back to cover a lot easier, versus if you're like using these wheel builds, you kind of just go in there, man, and you're in the match. It's kind of hard to get out of the battle when you're in battle with the wheel builds. So I could see this being a bit rough on wheel builds, but with hovers earlier, I found it was pretty awesome. The damage increase by 50% for Hawks was pretty crazy, at least my first impression of it. Now, I would guess the cannons that made out the best are probably these frontal cannons, because they're mostly going to be on hovers, perhaps on leg builds. So you're going to be able to take those peak shots and have more durability with leg builds to be able to deal with the increase in reload time. But the damage increase is significant. So let me know your thoughts if you guys are cannon mains. I'm not necessarily a cannon main, but I will be playing a lot of cannon builds over the weekend, so especially on Sunday's live stream. So definitely stop by YouTube and Twitch. We're going to be giving away Next Step Battle Pass this weekend, PlayStation gift cards, and Xbox gift cards this Sunday on Twitch and YouTube. So stop by our live stream where we can test all the fun stuff and just be a good time. Alright, so other balance changes that are in this patch: the ammo pack bonus to max ammo increase from 30 to 40%. Pretty awesome for everybody. The Tempest damage reduced, cooling rate reduced by 9%, so Tempest nerf there. Hot Rod getting a perk added to it in addition to the accuracy improvement, increased spread stability by 25%. This is also with the Torero, just a higher number. The Torero is going to be by 50%. Hot Rod Torero. I'm actually really excited. I've been using the Torero a lot with my machine guns lately, the past day, and I'm pretty excited for it. The Torero has been a bit underwhelming for a very long time, so that extra perk is going to be really awesome. I mean, the added perk of the Torero with the range increase and the spread decrease of machine guns is going to be pretty lit. Let me know what you guys think about that. Raijin, from what I hear, it's not nerfed into the ground, but overall, The Raijin has been nerfed with a reload time increase, power score increase, ammo reserve reduced. I mean, it's been hit pretty hard, but this weapon was so good. So we'll see how it performs now, especially in like the 10 to 13k game modes. But as of now, it has been nerfed. Let me know if you're a Raijin user, what you think of it. The Baroon, I'm so excited for, guys. I've been talking about this since I read about it, but the Baroon has seen a buff, energy consumption reduced, and power score reduced. So you're actually going to be able to run more modules on your Baroon, or just be able to run good Varoon builds at lower power scores, that 10, that 13k power scores. I might actually try to run Varoons in uranium battles next session. And Astrius getting some love, damage increase, and penetration ability increase. My favorite, the Phoenix, added bullet damage 50 and 100% penetration. Blast radius is reduced, and added a perk that increases crossbow stability by 10% for each hit. Stacks up to 3 times, but completely resets on a miss. So I'm pretty excited. Actually, I haven't tried out the Phoenix yet, but Phoenix is one of my favorite crossbows to use just for some fun PvP. So definitely looking forward to that. Rip Young Wang. They have doubled down on the Young Wang nerfs. I mean, like seriously doubled down on it. The slightly increase of the height of the collision model. You can't mount them underneath your build anymore. The projectile amount penalty now applies to weapons positioned sideways as well, so they made sure that you weren't going to be able to mount your Young Wang sideways either. They said rip, none for you. So I guess they just want you to use fast cockpit Young Wang builds that just do drive-bys. I'm not sure, but yeah, they completely killed any kind of undermounted or side mounted Young Wang. Added a check to prevent the weapon from firing through an opening smaller than its projectile. Well, that's interesting. So it seems like there was a bug where you could still armor the crap out of it. Not no more. Equalizer. You could basically bury the equalizer to make it invincible. Well, not no more. Rip Equalizer. I mean, Equalizer was meta at the 10k power score mode for uranium, so they just wanted to make sure they stopped that. Torero mentioned that the perk increases spread stability by 50%, so that is really awesome. Now, I've been talking about these two buffs for some time now, guys. The Step Spider perk now affects all rocket launchers except for Heather, Clarinetto, ATN, and Flute. Also, the perk now increases the maneuverability of homing rockets. So expect the Step Spider, the Dust Cabin, to go up in price. We've already seen the Dust Cabin skyrocket in price. I've been talking about for a while now that this was going to happen. And yeah, I'm here for it. I'm excited to try out a lot of different builds with the Dusk. I sold my Step Spider cabin because I wasn't really using it, but I do have some Dust cabins to try out. So I'm pretty excited to try out the Dusk with like Snowfalls or Lucifers, things like that. It's going to be a lot of fun. So stop by live stream Sunday. We'll be playing around with various crossout builds. Buggy Wheel, a little bit of nerf. Perk reduces the speed requirements to 30% instead of 40%. Oppressor getting a big buff, guys. Super excited for this. I mean, Oppressor is probably going to be king now for wheel builds. Hard to say. Like, the Fin Whale might be taking a back seat to this. I mean, you're going to be, in addition to the turning speed increase perk of the Oppressor, you're actually going to get a projectile speed bonus with the projectile, with the Oppressor. So this affects everything now. Machine guns will be affected with the projectile speed increase. Cannons will be super buffed with the projectile speed increase. I was using pulsars on a beacon build with Oppressor engine, and the projectile speed was awesome, guys. So the Oppressor's in a really good spot now. It's just a lot of fun. So get yourself an Oppressor if you don't already have one. Meat Grinder getting double nerfed here. They're getting a power score increase from 600 to 850. So you can't really use them in the 10, 13k mode as efficiently. But also, there was a bug that we're going to talk about at in the patch notes at the bottom here, which double nerfed Meat Grinder. So we'll be going over that in a moment. The Swarm and Slaughter seeing some love, guys. Blast damage now does not decrease with distance from the center of the explosion, and the rocket launcher now increases the enemy detection radius up to 150 meters, guys. The Swarm has so much more damage. I did try the Swarm with the Dust Cabin, and the spread is too much with the Dust Cabin, because the Dust Cabin now increases the spread and reduces projectile speed, so it has some downsides to the Dust Cabin. That means the Swarm is really hard to use with the Dust Cabin, but the Step Spider, oh yeah. Slaughter getting also a huge buff. I've been seeing these on Leviathans lately in Leviathan clan battles. Explosive projectile damage increased by 10%. Piercing projectile damage increased by 20%. Perk now increases damage by 3% for every 2 parts hit instead of 4 parts hit. Durability increase. A lot of love on the new battle pass items. So they've been not very efficient, not used widely, so we're going to see some more use of these 2 weapons in the future. Lucifer actually getting a huge buff also, durability increase, and the perk now gives 3 projectiles for every 4 parts destroyed instead of 6 projectiles. So basically, if you're landing all your shots, you can almost fire the Lucifer indefinitely. I was getting 6,000, 8,000 damage, 1 Lucifer volley on big builds like my Leviathan. Absolutely nuts if you can leverage your accuracy. Want to try this with like the Dust Cabin, because the Lucifer and the Dust Cabin would now work. Dust Cabin will boost the Lucifer's damage, but it will increase the spread and reduce the range of the Lucifer. So gonna be pretty rough to use it with the Dust Cabin, but I'm excited to try out the Lucifer with the Dusk. Destructor getting a huge nerf. I don't have any footage before of this, but overall ultimately you're doing less damage. Your base damage is increased by 20%, but your perk damage reduced by half, and the heat bonus from the perk reduced in half. So you're doing a lot less damage with Destructor. Could be the new meta on a levy is going to be like Athena Pulsar instead of the Destructor combination. So we'll see, but the Destructor has been hit pretty hard. Now, Tsunami getting a durability increase from 821 to 903, but not getting any of the other buffs that the other cannons received. Mars, this is frustrating, but everyone's builds are pretty much ruined with the Mars cabin. Dropping 1,000 kilograms off of the Mars is insane. They reduced the bonus to own damage from 30 to 20%. And increased the bonus to allies damage from 15 to 20%. Now, this is going to be really bad, because when you use your Mars perk on your friendly Leviathan, that's going to be brutal. They also came with a perk recharge time increase. So Mars getting hit pretty hard with some nerfs. They want it to be more of a team-based cabin, not necessarily like the Humpback, where the Humpback is like only affects your damage. So the Griffin getting a active perk radius increase. The Fin Whale getting that speed bonus reduction. Now, this is phase 1 of their nerfing of the brick meta, which I'm thinking like this is going to be really bad, because we've never been able to run any weapons on brick builds ever in CROSSOUT, and now everyone's complaining about it, so it's going to be nerfed, and then we're not going to be able to run any kind of like weapons on a brick build pretty soon. So this is phase 1 of them completely getting rid of brick meta. They're basically going to be adjusting the speed bonuses of things over time to just make sure that you can't go 90, 100 kilometers an hour on a brick build. So this is the start of the bricks being nerfed. We'll see what they do in the future. Jackie hit pretty hard. They're reducing the perk bonuses of everything. Damage reduced from 20 to 15%. The speed bonus reduced from 7 to 4%. And the power reduced from 20 to 15%. Now, the Jackie is used with everything. Obviously, there's other modules. You have the Amamori, you have the Averter, you have the Jackie. So they want you to use other modules depending on what kind of build you're going for. There might be a build where you're going to want to use the Amamori and not the Jackie. I don't think this is nerfing the Jackie into the ground, but it's definitely a pretty hard hit to the Jackie. So excited for this, guys. The Typhoon received a buff, guys. Now, increase of upward aiming angles. It's pretty huge. This is, my first thought was like, this is for helicopter mode. You can hit helicopters out of the sky now with Typhoons. But also, when Typhoon builds, the hover builds get dipped, it's really hard. You can't shoot them anymore. You knock off the front hovers of your Typhoon build, they can't fire. They're done. So this actually makes it possible to run hovers on Typhoons, and if you lose your front hovers, you're still going to be able to shoot your Typhoon. So this is actually pretty massive. I mean, not quite exactly what we want with Typhoons. Everyone wants to see Typhoons a little bit in a better spot, but this might put them in a much better spot. Mainly, again, if you get your hovers shot off, you can still shoot up. So I'm excited to whip my Typhoons back out and try them out in action. They've reworked many of the perks now. A nerf to Grizzly. The talent is now activated after 3 hits instead of 2. At least 3 seconds must elapse between hits instead of 1. And the talent charge starts to decrease 5 seconds instead of 10 seconds. So a nerf to Grizzly. Everybody was using Grizzly, especially the bricks where they have the full cabin exposed and they're just tanking damage. So we'll see if people switch away from Grizzly and go to other co-drivers. Yuki perk, the distance for talent activation has been increased. The passive skill that increases durability of movement parts has been replaced by 15% reduction in the penalty to movement parts. So this is going to be insane for hovers. I mean, you stack your movement part penalty reduction of your movement parts. You have your power penalty reduction on your cabin fusion. You get the Colossus engine with the highest bonus to power. This could be pretty huge. I'm excited to try out some Yuki hover builds to see how fast they go, or how fast they accelerate rather. Co-driver Billy used to be in a really bad spot. You didn't want to use it because machine guns are flimsy and you're taking a bunch of extra damage. With this co-driver, your weapons would take more damage. Well, they got rid of it. Now the talent additionally reduces spread by 20% and no longer increases damage received by the weapons. So a lot of people are going to be using Billy now, especially with the hit scan nerfs, I guess. Billy is going to put machine guns in a more of a powerful place after they've been nerfed a little bit. The passive skill that increases self-destruct damage has been replaced by a 10% increase in time to overheat. So self-destruct useless, increase in time to overheat, great. Directional Fury passive skill now reduces the spread increase by 20% instead of 10%. So that's kind of crazy, guys. Billy ultimately getting a massive buff for machine guns. The passive skill that increases the speed of an armored vehicle now also affects the maximum speed of movement parts for Phobos. So if you're using meat grinders or hovers or legs for the Phobos, you will be able to go a little bit faster. It doesn't really affect the wheels builds, but for everything else. Co-driver at Tiddlin, active skill now increases damage by 15% instead of 10. The passive skill increases the radius of fire puddles and has been replaced by a 25% increase in the speed of heating up parts with thermal damage. So a while back they nerfed incinerators. They nerfed how fast the incinerators would heat up parts. This might be their way of correcting the incinerator nerf. So now you're going to be able to heat up parts a much faster rate. The compact mixture passive skill now works with all ammo types, and the bonus value has been increased from 15% to 25%. So more ammo for your builds. Awesome, guys. So what are some other changes? The Dead Highway and Lost Coast maps were now adapted for Battle Walkers. Sweet. Updated the images of Dead Highway and Lost Coast maps. Removed Terminal 45 map from rotation. Uh-oh. Why did they remove it from rotation? Are they reworking it? What are they doing with it? Curious. Isn't that a Clan War map? I'm pretty sure that's a Clan War map. Let me know in the comments below if you think they're going to be bringing it back or what. Interface, you can now see the number of likes your brawl has by selecting it in the list. Improve page switching area of the current season. Improve the displaying of announcement the coming soon banner. Okay, pretty cool. I have to check out. I didn't notice anything different, but I have to check that out. They did improve a bunch of sounds for machine guns, Vector and Sinus machine guns, and also improve the speed of machine gun sounds. So it's now the sound is more aligned with machine guns, not just random burr. It's actually going to be more in line. Improve the sounds of machine guns at a distance. Fix the balance of sound volume between different weapon groups. Improve the sound volume of music tracks in the game. So some miscellaneous thing. Improved aiming of weapons when firing at certain area around armored aircraft. Updated bullet flight speed effects for machine guns and shotguns. So they added a unique patch for helping a developer in combat or destroying them. So what do they mean by that? Well, there is a new CM hunt event where you can actually hunt down Failey, the Reddit CM. He'll write a message in general chat at the start of the event, and then you will need to trust your luck and get into the same battle with him. Now, if you don't want to trust your luck, what I would do is just subscribe to Failey's builds, and then you can literally Q snipe Failey, which I wish they would remove this feature, but that's all you have to do. You subscribe to Failey's builds. He will then be in your author section, and you will be able to see when he queues up. Now, I don't know if he has his profile private, so you won't be able to see his power score, or maybe you will, but you will be able to Q snipe Failey if you want to try and catch him in matches. I don't know if, again, I don't know if he's going to tell you his power score. That's going to be really important, and what mode he's playing, if he's playing arcade or missions, but just subscribe to Failey016 on the exhibition, whatever platform, and you'll be able to Q snipe him. When will this event take place? Well, guys, it's going to be console and PC, different times for different servers. Europe servers, here's the list: November 22nd, 1900 GMT, November 29th, 1900 GMT. North American servers, November 23rd and November 30th. 2100 GMT. And then they're also going to be doing it on Xbox and PlayStation. I don't know what platform he's going to be on, PlayStation or Xbox, so make sure you have crossplay turned on. And then they have some times listed again there, November 22nd and 29th, 2000 GMT, November 23rd and 30th for North America, 2200 GMT. So the CM hunt is on, guys, and you will receive some rewards. What are the rewards? You get military reserve crates. So the military reserve crate just features basic resources, nothing too crazy. So nothing too crazy, but you could get 20 uranium, 50 badges, 20 plastic, 20 wires. It's pretty decent. Very, very few people have been getting uranium, but still a reward nonetheless for hunting down Faley, one of the community managers. So on to some bug fixes. They actually did fix some bugs, guys. It fixed a bug that caused the Goliath perk to continue to be active even when the track was in the air, not touching the ground. So a lot of people want Goliath to be more viable, to be meta. However, this gets abused by the meta leg builds. Every leg build throws a Goliath on the front of their build, and next thing you know, they've got 13 legs and a Goliath track, and they're pretty much freaking invincible. So this actually makes it so that the Goliath perk won't work on legs anymore. So maybe this is their first step to making Goliath tracks great again. Increase the active time of the upgraded Tachi and Tempora melee weapons. This fixes a bug that caused the upgraded versions of these weapons to not deal more damage despite the increased active time. Interesting. Fixed a number of bugs that cause incorrect display and scrolling of nicknames. Fixed a bug that caused epic workbench coupons to not take into account when crafting petrels and hummingbirds. We did mention an auger is getting a double dip in the buff or the nerf category. So now augers are no longer affected by damage bonuses from modules, cabins, and co-drivers. So rip augers. They were so good for like all of 1 month, and now they're just trying to make sure that they're not as good. Fixed a bug to cause the Jackie module to increase the damage of Mastodons by only 10%. So if you've been using the Jackie module with Mastodons, it's been broken, and you need to try again. They fixed the bug that caused the fortune projectiles to sometimes disappear. Fixed the bug that caused armored aircraft to not be able to descend after using stabilization mode. Fixed the bug where accuracy modifiers did not work with the reduced spread of the breaker perk. They fixed the bug that caused the Munin perk and the R-type 52 bonuses to not affect the Phantom drums, and improved a number of in-game tech. So a lot of great things, in my opinion, great things happening in the Wasteland, guys. What is your overall opinion of these changes? I'm actually really excited. The game seems more fun to me so far. It's a pain in the ass. You have to rebuild all of your builds. Really annoying. Not looking forward to that, but I think this is really good changes for the game. Of course, I am blessed with North American servers, so if you have high ping, it does suck. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Let me know what builds we should try out on Sunday's live stream. Just remember, you can stop by to win a Next Step Battle Pass this Sunday. We're giving away Xbox gift cards, PlayStation gift cards. Join our Discord for one of the best communities in the Wasteland. I truly appreciate the support of everyone in the channel. Those of you guys becoming YouTube members, Twitch subscribers, super chatting, leaving a tips. Links are in the description if you want to help grow our channel. Much love, and I will see you guys in the next video.